What's going on, good people? Rich here, school in the building.
What's happening?
The lovely Ray P. What's going on, Rachel?
Hey, everybody. What's poppin'?
Hey, this is a lot easier now that I can actually see y'all and I know when y'all gonna speak and all that kind of good stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely, man. Most importantly, welcome to everybody listening and should I say watching, because this is the first episode of the Culture Garden podcast where we have some visuals to what we're saying. And we definitely appreciate y'all being here for the ride. It's been a long time coming.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. So we obviously, for those of you who aren't familiar with us, my name's Kyron. I go by Rich. We have Rachel. We have Schoolboy here at the bottom. And we've been hosting the Culture Garden podcast where we have made a space just to talk about our culture and the things that matter to us and the films that are overlooked, that deserve discussion, the actors that deserve discussion, the directors, all types of filmmakers that made the products that we love and enjoy to this day. And we wanted to make sure we had a space for it. And we are happy to continue to share that with you. For our original listeners who've been there with us from day one, we definitely appreciate y'all. Much love. And we are happy to be, I feel like y'all growing with us as well.
Yeah.
Been here every step of the way.
And thank y'all for welcoming me aboard.
Yeah, absolutely.
Family.
Ray's been around for a while. We actually recorded the Best Man episode. For those of you who haven't checked it out, it's in our archives. Please go listen to that one. It's actually
go listen.
That's probably top 3 for me, easily.
Yeah, same.
I remember. I think it might have been around Christmas time because I think Rachel, you were making a road trip back home.
Yeah.
And you had called me and I just listened to the Best Man on the way home. That's a good episode.
Yeah.
It was so funny.
It was. It had everything
was so
we needed.
Funny.
School, you said the same thing to me. You just randomly out of the blue one day, like, yo, the Best Man episode was really good.
Yeah, definitely dope ass episode. Everything we do is dope, man.
Toot that horn, man.
There it is.
Yeah.
He ain't lying.
But but all joking aside, if you ain't your number one fan, what you in this for. So
absolutely.
Absolutely. And you guys continue to listen and follow us. So we appreciate y'all and for the support. The one thing I will ask of you is just make sure the YouTube channel is up. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you comment. When it comes to the podcast, make sure, the actual Apple, Spotify, wherever you listen, make sure you comment, rate us, whether it's good or bad. It just helps us out, lets us get a good feel. Yeah, absolutely. Just gives us a good feel on what we should be doing. What you guys enjoy, so we can bring more of that to you, because we're about to start cranking this up. I know, like I said, we do this for the culture, but we're also movie buffs across the board. So there's a lot of things that we're going to be discussing that maybe step outside of the culture every now and then, just to kind of show our chops a little bit. And it'll be something that everybody's enjoyed. So we got a few ideas going for y'all. We really care about this community. We made it specifically for you, for the people who love film and television just as much as us. We love having these conversations with you, so please don't hesitate to reach out, whether it's a text message, whether it's on Instagram at the Culture Garden Podcast, anywhere. Just reach out, give us film suggestions. We can just talk movies all day. It doesn't really matter. So we're looking forward to continuing this journey. And today, what better way to kick off our first video pod was Set It Off.
Classic.
It's a classic.
Classic.
Absolute no hold bar classic. You can't take that away. So let me ask y'all a question. Whoever wants to answer first. Do either of you remember the first time you saw Set It Off?
No.
I do. My cousin was babysitting us and snuck us to the movies. It's 100. I saw this in the theater with my big cousins. 100%. I don't think my parents knew. But yeah, saw it in the theater with my cousins, who taught me every good or bad thing I know about this life. It depends.
Gotta have a cousin gotta have a cousin like that.
Exactly.
So do you remember the movie in the theater? Do you remember the first watch?
I do.
You just remember going?
I do. I was like, wow, this is something. And it was our first time seeing Queen Latifah truer to form.
Yeah, very Dana Owens-ish. Very Dana Owens-ish.
Very Dana. Yeah.
That's actually, I wasn't expecting you to say that. I couldn't even begin to tell you.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I remember specifically is, for one, I was super young, but I have an older sister. She's 8 years older than me, and this was her thing. Like, I remember the soundtrack was huge, and she had the soundtrack, and she played that "I'll Be Missing You" or whatever that Brandy song was. She played that out, boy.
Who was it? Brandy, Tamia, Shaka Khan.
Soundtrack was phenomenal.
And Gladys.
Yeah,
I think that's the other person on it. Yeah.
Yeah, soundtrack. The soundtrack reached number 4 on the Billboard charts.
Of course.
Not just the rap charts on the Billboard. Like, the soundtrack was incredible.
Yeah.
It was so popular that I think they were giving away copies of it if you ordered The Long Kiss Goodnight on pay-per-view. Mind you, this movie came out in 96, so pay-per-view was really still a thing.
Right.
And if you ordered that movie, they were giving you a copy of the soundtrack. That's how popular this soundtrack was.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
I miss when soundtracks, like when it was literally, I made this song for this movie. Like, it's not an album cut, none of that. I miss those days. Set it off, had it all. Let's get into some stats real quick, just to give a little bit of history and background on it. It was directed by F. Gary Gray, who just came off the heels of Friday the year before. New Line Cinema was actually, they put this movie on, so it made sense. When Friday was a hit, they were looking for something for F. Gary Gray to do. And this kind of came about right at the right time, and the rest, as they say, is history. It was released November 6, 1996, with a budget of $9 million and grossed $41.5 million worldwide.
That's
crazy. I mean, let's get into real quick just the disbelief from Hollywood executives that a film like this couldn't work. They rejected this movie 3 times before they greenlit it.
Oh yeah,
of
course.
They were on record saying that there's no way Black men are going to go to the movie theaters and see 4 Black women rob banks. That's just so unrealistic. And then we were the main demographic.
It's so crazy. It's so crazy. One, I want to double back. I believe F. Gary Gray also has an EP credit for Set It Off, but I'm not surprised that the cinemas, the powers that be, were apprehensive, because even now it is still, quote unquote, hard to get Black movies greenlit, so I'm not surprised that they were apprehensive, especially with the subject matter being what it was. Again, we see the dressed down Queen Latifah, who we hadn't seen looking anything other than Snatched in quite some time. But you have I was about to call her Stoney, Jada Pinkett,
right?
Vivica A. Fox, Kimberly Elise.
Yes,
I thought she was for real slow.
We're gonna have a Kimberly Elise conversation. We're gonna have a conversation.
I genuinely did. So I'm glad.
Not to cut. I'm sorry. We're gonna have a conversation about Kimberly Elise and TT, because we'll have the conversation. Keep going, Rachel.
Yeah, but no, just so I'm so glad that they were able to literally show and prove what it is that we can do, one, on screen, and then us as a community, what that Black dollar and interest really does. What a flip. 40 million off of 9. Come on, man.
Come on, that's a flip, as you said, Ray.
And
like, if there's ever been one, especially in 96, and I was watching some behind the scenes stuff that I found, and they were even talking about, like, it's impossible to make a large studio movie with $9 million. They were making 3 other movies at the time that had like 100 times more the budget, and this is the one that was kind of like that stood out from that year. But they said at the same time it brought them closer. It was fun. They shot it in 39 days. Like, they didn't have time to waste. There's a lot of good scenes in this movie where F. Gary Gray was like, we had one take. Like, if we didn't get that take, it wouldn't have been in the movie. And they were like,
well, it's also, sorry, not to cut you off, but
go ahead.
When you talk about that $9 million budget, a lot of people don't know that half of that budget was spent on the Godfather thing. Like, so they really only had about 5 to work with, for real.
Yeah, I was going to say
think about the names.
Yeah, but before they were who they were, like, Jada was the one, the queen. It was originally made for those 2. and didn't have any plans for anybody else, and it kind of became an ensemble movie over time. But I'm glad you mentioned that school. Half of that budget did go to the Godfather theme music for that scene at the round table, which is insane to think about. If I'm F. Gary Gray, I'm cool. I can make a scene without it. You know what I mean? Like, I think the audience will get the point. Like, we could have used that money on some other stuff, but it worked out how it needed to work out. It is not currently streaming anywhere, so it's not on Netflix, not on like Stars or HBO Max. So either you own it or you can rent it on Vudu, Amazon Prime, whatever the case may
Prime,
be.
yeah.
But this is one that should be in your collection. This is definitely one that should be in the collection. Just in case, I had an issue with it's funny, we were supposed to record yesterday, but my Wi-Fi has been out. So I'm glad that I still have movies on DVD, because it was one of those moments where I can't stream anything. So I had to entertain myself, by watching movies. And let's get into the cast. I know we talked about it a little bit. Queen and Jada, they were the first choices for their roles. So Cleo was written for Queen, Stoney was written for Jada. And we'll talk about those characters and just what they mean overall, especially Cleo. And Jada actually wanted to play the role of Cleo. Yeah, she got the script. She wanted to be Cleo.
That's crazy.
Cannot see it.
Talk her out. Can't see anybody but Queen and Cleo playing Cleo.
Cannot see it.
Absolutely not. Vivica A. Fox, who we knew a little bit at that time. I know we talked about her on the Soul Food episode.
Yeah.
She had the audition for the role of Frankie, and she actually auditioned for TT as well. And Will Smith was actually her audition coach.
I was just gonna say, wasn't she working on Independence Day right around the same time? So okay.
So full circle, Will is dating Jada at the moment. They're not married. Will is dating Jada. Will and Vivica are doing Independence Day. They're like in the same lots, because I think Vivica did her audition while she was on lunch break from Independence Day.
Oh wow.
And she was telling Will about it, who she spent a lot of the movie Independence Day with. And obviously he knew about it because of Jada. So he's coaching her up, helping her out. This is how you should get this role. This is how you should play this character. And she ended up getting a role. So I think that's just a real cool story about how that all worked out. And then we have Kimberly Elise, who was fresh out of film school, was working as a waitress, was married. She was like the most relatable to her character in the film. And she was just found by somebody while she was waiting tables.
Oh, wow. I did not know that. I know very little about her story in general, because again, I thought that she was like a success story. I did. I did. I was like, oh my God. Because no, because there's also like a movie that used to come on BET around the same time where she also played someone with some issues. Some disabilities. So I was like, oh man, like she's a beast. She still is.
She is.
She still is.
What movie was this?
No, I'm gonna find it and let you know. But it used to come on BET on Saturday nights. I'm telling you.
So what you telling me is her first movie was was Set It Off, and her second one she played Slow.
Yes, or
someone with disabilities.
Was. Yeah, someone with disabilities.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, someone with disabilities. I apologize.
That is what I thought. Yeah,
Simple Jack.
If anybody's seen Tropic Thunder, you know what that reference is.
Yeah. So I was so impressed. Like, man, I need that money too. Like, I felt that.
Yeah.
Listen. She had some moments in this film. I'm going to save my thoughts because there's something that I want to discuss that ties into that and get your thoughts on it. So I'm going to save my Kimberly Elise. And like I said, I think it's a little bit of TT. I don't know. We'll talk about it. Okay. What does this, Rachel, you remember it in the theater, you saw it in theaters, which is crazy. What does this movie mean to the both of you?
I love Set It Off. It's a harrowing tale of, friendship.
Right.
Friendship and adventure. And there was something, so right after the robbery, when they're sitting on the roof smoking, and they're looking at the factory, and they were so geeked because it paid $15 an hour. We're still in the $15 an hour like fight. There are still companies and stuff that don't make that. So for me, even looking at it now as an adult, I'm like, damn, I didn't realize how real the struggle really is for people in this world. You know, as a kid, I'm like, damn, why don't I have no money? You know, you don't know. You're just like, okay, different economic situations, but no, like, motherfucker, it's hard out here. So I think it's just an example of that for me. Like, you know what? Talk about getting out the mud. You got to do whatever you got to do. I don't recommend robbing banks, but things happen.
That's very well said. That's real. School, you got anything you want to piggyback off of that?
I agree 110 with everything you said. For me though, I'm gonna go to, I'm sure something we're gonna discuss anyway, but just how great Queen Latifah is. This is just one of those Queen Latifah movies for me. Like, I love everyone in this movie, don't get it twisted, but I go to this movie for Queen Latifah every time. Like, this is it for me. So for sure.
I can honestly say that I think Queen should have got nominated.
Yeah,
100%.
I know she got nominated for Chicago down the line, I think in 2003 or whatever, but Cleo should have got a nomination. I mean, for this to be her first feature film, like her first lead. I know she had a small part in like House Party 2, and she was in Living Single at the time, but my goodness, we can't say enough about her performance in this film.
Groundbreaking.
It was groundbreaking.
In many ways.
Right. It was amazing, but there's no way she was getting a nod for it.
Absolutely not. She wouldn't. They never gave it to her. Maybe in 2022 they would have given her one.
Now, yes.
Yeah.
96.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, let's not forget too. I think Gary Gray was talking about it. They filmed this movie around her schedule. That's how important she was to this movie. So she's dope, man. She's dope.
Yeah, she embodied. And numerous cast members said she was Kobe locked in. She was MJ locked in. She was just locked in to really show the world she can do this and step outside and kind of just become a star. And she did that with one role. And I think it was incredible. To me, it's interesting, just to kind of piggyback off what Rachel said, this movie, I know a lot of people look at it as a bank robbery, a bank heist movie. It's a disenfranchisement movie to me. Like, Rachel, you just hit the nail on the head. Like, just what happens when 4 people absolutely have no options?
Yep.
There's a quote, and I can't remember who says it. It's not the full quote, but it's just pretty much like, you're going to be great at something, whether you either have to really care about it or you have to be really desperate. Like, that's the true way to really unlock, the highest potential. Got to be one of the two. Can't be any middle ground. And this is 4 women in desperation for life. I mean, down on their luck. I mean, it was unique already to have 4 Black women in a lead in a movie. I know we had, Waiting to Excel the year prior, but to have them in an action film where they're doing things that you want to expect women to be doing.
Bussin'.
The reasons why they were committing these bank robberies, the camaraderie, they made sure that we knew that they knew each other for a long time. They're sandbox friends. Like, they know each other in and out. And they just realized one day they're in a hamster wheel. Like, no matter what they do, we could talk about the opening scene with Frankie, Vivica A. Fox's character, where she got fired from the bank. Of course, she's going to work for Luther's, but it's always going to be a Luther. Like, there's never going to be anything for these group of women above a Luther type of job. And I think they realized it one day and said, what can we do to actually get ourselves out of this situation in a real way? And
that's it.
All it takes is one piece of motivation, which in this movie was, if crackhead Darnell can rob a bank, we can rob a bank.
We can. Well, at least we got some street smarts, But I think that the bank was that level above, cleaning buildings and whatnot for Frankie. Because if you remember, she was a little bougie with it, even though it still was probably only a little over minimum wage. It wasn't grunt work, she still could get her nails done. She still could put herself together for whatever that meant for someone making that amount of money, in that time. So to regress to now have to be doing this manual, disgusting labor, like, I think that also too humiliating for her, and also a breaking point. Like, nigga, let's get this money by any means.
Yeah, I think she had that vendetta as well, just being fired from a. My bad, school. Go ahead.
No, I was going to probably say the same thing, like that vendetta of, like she said in the scene, I counted to, how do you know? I counted 240 grand for you, like
by hand.
By hand. Like, what do you mean? Mm-hmm. So that's just, I know I've been in those type of situations, like, damn, for real. So
she realized she's a number. She can easily be replaced the next day. It's kind of like that meme that started floating around the internet, like take that vacation, use that PTO. Your job, you know, if you die tomorrow, your job will replace you. Like that was her moment of realizing, like,
100%.
Yo, you just gave me a promotion. Like, you sitting here firing me, and they did it so crassly. Like, this doesn't sit well with us. Like, I can't help, and I feel like I can't help who I know. Like, there's some people right now who come in. Hey, man, I know him, but I don't know him. Like,
but I don't know him.
You know what I mean? So all four of them had their motivations. TT, the single mother. Stony, I mean, we know about her story. She's raising her younger brother. Her parents got killed in a car accident. Like I said, we talk about the conditions of just Black people. Life insurance, like that probably wasn't even thought of or heard of. Like, so you get a situation. I mean, it just goes deeper into the things that we don't know, especially back in the 90s. You know, her parents died in a car accident. They don't have anything to give back to them. Like, so Stoney's now struggling as a big sister / mother to make ends meet. And Cleo, I think, is just Cleo's doughboy. Cleo is O-Dog. Cleo is the product of her environment. There is no. Cleo is who she is, and I think she's comfortable with that. I think one of my favorite moments in the film was when Stoney's talking to Cleo at Luther's after they kind of make up, and she said, you know, what do you think? You know, you ever thought about where you're gonna be 5 years from now? And Cleo's like, man, we ain't nothing but hood rats. Like, the hood's where I belong. I ain't thinking about 5 years from now. I'm thinking about getting through the day. And that's just the mindset of not just Cleo, but large majority of the hood. Like, if we made it through today, like today's a shout out to Q, shout out to the West Coast. Today is a good day.
Hello.
You know, so I think that this film beautifully portrayed all of those elements into one and gave you the good motivation of why. It wasn't just we're gonna drop these girls in and they robbing banks. Like, we get to see why and what levels pushed them to this, and then they were just cold. Absolutely. We'll talk about like strategical and tactical stuff, but they were just cold with it. Like, you wanted to see them, and you wanted to see them succeed. They were anti-heroes. Like, they were. We shouldn't have been rooting them on. But, you know what I'm saying? Get your money. Get your money.
Get your money. We riding. That's a fact.
We riding. So let's get into some categories. Let's talk about best scenes. Rachel, you want to kick us off?
Okay. Best scenes for me. One, the initial bank robbery, not with Lorenz and them, but their first bank robbery, because we see how they really set that shit off. You know what I'm saying? And then following that, when they're back at Cleo's garage, Frankie's counting money. Cleo's busting guns. She's late. We got Ursula not saying a word. Pause. She didn't say a single word through the whole movie.
No, whole movie.
Only time she even did anything was when Stoney was in the phone booth. And remember, Cleo had the lighter and she screamed. That's the only time we even knew that she wasn't a mute.
That's it. But Frankie said, well, she can't talk. And so she made a point to start speaking to her. I was like, that's my kind of bitch. That's the shit I'll be on. Bitch, you can't speak. Hello? Are you okay?
Definitely Rachel. 110% Rachel.
Yeah, straight up.
But I already said it, but TT, I need that money. That is one of my favorite lines, favorite scenes. Because the desperation was palpable. Do you hear me? Like, she really needed that money. Like, I wanted to give her my share of their $3,000, you know? Like, that's the other thing. Quick pause. People don't know, and I think that the movie did a good job of highlighting, and this is not advocating bank robberies or anything, but they really don't have a lot of bread in their drawers, you know? So the fact that they had done all that, and the first one only got $12,000. Like that's not shit.
Straight up.
And we see how fast, split between 4 people, and we see how fast that money went before they had to re-up to do it again, you know. Another favorite scene of mine is when Frankie and Blair Underwood, not Stoney Keith. And Blair Underwood Keith, when when they go to the gala, when she shows up looking like she was at Stevie's 70s party, like, why do you have that on?
Right.
And it was like, you know what? No, you know what? I actually don't like your outfit.
I love that he did that. Like, I'm being real, but I lied to you about one. I lied to you about one thing. Like, let's make this stop. You look like a clown right now.
You look ridiculous. Straight up. Like,
hey, I got a question real quick. Did the white girl do her hair?
You know,
even the wife was like, "Did she do her hair too?" Or I was like, "Hey, I don't know."
I don't know. I'm hoping that Stoney might have just been like, you know what? Okay, let me pull it back because I really don't even know if you would know what to do with that. So the fact that he really pretty womaned her, you know what? I love that. And when she was at the gala, you know, she could hold her own. And so it just spoke to, you know, motherfucker, all people need is a chance, you know. All people need is to see themselves outside of their circumstance, outside of their environment. And you will see who can really motherfucking rise to the occasion. And Stoney did that.
Can I just cut in real quick? It just goes into Stoney's character as far as how far off she thought she was from things. Like, she even referenced that scene as, I'm borrowing from your life. She couldn't see that for herself. Just kind of going back to what we said about the characters. It's just, that was just a great point. And, you know, Keith did that for her. He was like that medium and that muse for her to kind of let that off.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. And I just always randomly say, can I get some sustenance? You know? So, those are probably like my top. That's not like sad and heartbreaking, because of course we can get into all of the death scenes, because while they're my favorites, they are actually extremely sad.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. School, what about you? You got any?
I got the Cleo and Sonny makeup.
Stoney,
excuse me. The Cleo and Stoney makeup scene. That's definitely, I feel personally, that's where Queen would have won the Oscar. If you doing the reel of the Oscar reel, like, that scene was just, like you said, her telling, like, 5 years from now, listen, I'm trying to make it through this day, count some money, you know, kiss a few females and you know, whatever. So that scene for me, and the Balboa savings and loan robbery. I think that's the second one, right? That's the one where she runs in with that's
robbery. My favorite bank robbery.
Yeah, I think that's everyone's favorite. Just those circumstances and thinking on her feet. And
that's it.
I also like that they made everyone at one point be a what is it?
Getaway driver.
Getaway driver. Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so. It probably that kind of, I want to piggyback off that a little bit. First, I'll get in. Well, let me just stay with the second bank robbery scene. That's definitely one of my favorite scenes. It is my favorite bank robbery. And mainly for the action. Like, I think it was other than the ending, the best action sequence of the movie. Obviously, the earlier when I was talking about that he had money for one take, there was that crashing through the Suburban going through the wall. They only had Wilshire shut down for a certain amount of time. They had one chance to do it. I'm glad it worked out for him. But
man,
isn't it surprising or incredible that they had 2 successful bank robberies and they weren't good bank robbers?
No,
like, by all accounts, they weren't good. Matter of fact, the one bank robbery that they actually seemed like they had it together was the one they got caught.
Was the one they got caught?
Yeah, they had terrible tactics. Like, they're tactical. Kind of going with what you just said, School. Like, yeah, it's cool for us to see them play different roles and different getaway drivers, But in real life, you have one person that's the best getaway driver that you know. Like, there's no reason for you to come inside because you cold behind that wheel. Like, this person's cold at commanding the room. This person's quick with getting the money. Like, everybody should have their roles, but they were just kind of winging it. And they didn't, you know, they robbed a bank that they didn't case. That's a big no-no. They had trash disguises. The wigs and the sunglasses. Trash disguises. Like, they were looking to get caught. You know, if you didn't know any better. The second bank robbery, they didn't even pay attention to the fact that the exit was blocked. That's something that you see that happening before everything even goes off. You see the vagrant and the woman, you see the security guard. Hey, the scene don't look right. Let's hold off. Let's do it tomorrow, whatever the case is. They did not care. Going back to what you said, Rachel, the first bank robbery. I love Vivica, we'll call her Frankie, excuse me. When Stoney and TT are kind of like, no, we ain't ready. Oh, you ain't ready? Okay. Pulls out the strap, like, we going to Cleo down. Cleo, like, let's get it.
Ready.
Yeah, I love that about him. But that was just one observation, obviously, that they just weren't good bank robbers, but they were successfully grabbed a lot of money.
That goes back to that desperation. Like, it is what it is. You got to get to it.
I'll throw in that Godfather scene. Mainly selfishly, I'm a big Godfather fan. It's one of the greatest films of all time. And it actually made sense. If you've watched the Godfather films and watched that scene, they really, like Cleo Menza, off a play of Clemenza in The Godfather, you know, the meeting of the five families, they actually had a friction that they needed to sort out. That's how they got it sorted out in The Godfather. We sit down. And they got back together. I really enjoyed that. I wouldn't have spent half the budget on the you know, the score of it, but
I would have used the fake song, man, or something. They would have known. We would have known.
Yeah, we would have known what it was.
They would have figured it out.
Yeah.
And then I would say the last 25 minutes of the film, like just as a whole, like this film was one where I cared more about the characters and the scenes.
Yeah,
like, I was more intrigued. They didn't have to be doing too much, but I just really enjoyed them on screen. The build up, getting to know them, and I was purely invested. By the time the last 25 minutes came, you know how it's going to go, but you're really rooting for them to get out of there. Where that's not the case
every time.
In a lot of stories. Every time, you know how it's going to end, and I'm still.
Yes. There's a few movies like that you watch and you know how it's going to end, but you just
that's it.
Maybe this time.
But you know what? For me, it's Stoney watching from the charter bus window, watching Frankie's demise unfold. Like, it's the fear, the shock, the awe. Like, Jada did her thing.
The realization that like, they saw you too. Like, you know, Stroll saw her too. And I guess that's a eye for an eye. Right, he let her go because I did kill your
we
brother.
Know why. Nigga, you know I killed all your friends.
Yeah, all your friends, your brother,
and your brother.
Yeah, you know, so I think that was an ode to that. And any other quotes any other scenes that anybody wants to throw in there or discuss real quick before we move on to the next category?
Nah, I think I got it.
Okay,
I think we can move on.
All right, let's move on to best quotes. I know, Rachel, you said one. I told one of mine about Darnell. If crackhead Darnell can rob a bank, we can rob a bank. Let me ask y'all, because I had trouble with this. What's the most iconic line from Set It Off?
I'm in a bind, Nate.
All right, so I had that. I had that, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't tripping. I'm like, it's so simple. I'm like, is this the most iconic? Because everybody has used that.
That's the one.
Either used it or heard it, one of the two.
That's it.
I'm in a bind, Nate.
When Cleo was talking about Sonya, said, "You acting real stanker dank." That line had me and my friends in a chokehold all through middle school.
I love that line. I also love another Cleo line when her and Stoney were still beefing and they went to go pick her up. I want to get at home no ride. Just the way she said that. Like I felt her. Like she ain't want nothing to do with Stoney. But they cool.
Want to get her no ride.
Right.
I love climb out the pussy, Luther.
That's on my list.
Yeah.
That's on my list. Yep. With the gun tap to the back of the head. Absolutely.
Baby.
Yeah, that's kind of what I have for my favorite scenes, or excuse me, favorite quotes in the movie. Anything else from you guys?
I already said it, but that I need that money is That's the one.
I need this money.
That's it. That's it.
This
y'all
might
giving
be.
TT? Y'all giving TT a cut?
Yeah, absolutely. Just off the camaraderie. Excuse me. I don't know what
Listen,
the hell
I'm gonna be real. TT getting some money. I don't know if she getting an even cut.
She ain't getting 3,000.
I probably would because she really needed it. Like they just took her son.
She needed. Yeah.
Let me put it like this: if her son didn't get taken away, you might walk out here with 500, maybe a rack. She ran, bro. She had to take the bus. I love, matter of fact, speaking of which, I love when she came in. I love when she came in and she was like, "Did you lock that door?" And Stoney said that. I'm like, "Stoney, you ain't locked the door." Obviously,
Right.
TT just walked her happy ass in here.
Right.
But yeah, I'm giving TT some money, but that's only off the strength that's my dog.
Yeah.
Because my goodness, even Cleo, I wouldn't expect Cleo. Cleo was like, "Come on now, she was there, and then what?
Hey.
Split."
Still ain't did shit.
Still ain't do shit. Yeah, that's another one. But for me, at the beginning, when Stevie is at I can't remember the other bank robber's house. It's like when Natalie DeSalle was like, he ain't even from AP when he's getting the Acorn Project.
Yeah. That's her first film, by the way.
Is it? Oh, R.I.P. That's what's up.
R.I.P. to her.
Legend.
Natalie DeSalle, man. But yeah, what was in that Lorenz?
That was Lorenz. Well, I don't know why I was thinking it was the heavy set one was Lorenz.
No, Darnell was Dub C.
There you go.
Lorenz is the classic. I forget his name. He's the classic hood dude. He's
Samuel Monroe Jr.
Thank you, because yes,
thank you.
He's been in everything. He does dirt in everything he's in. Like
everything.
Not just that he does dirt. Like he's the worst type of nigga.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every movie.
Typecast.
Yeah, he really is. He typecast as the worst type of nigga.
But he knows it because he was in what's the one joint?
Don't Be a Menace.
Don't Be a Menace. He got stomped into
stomped out, literally.
Parodying himself. Yeah, but he's the worst type. Players Club, Menace to Society. You name it.
Everything.
He's the worst.
He's a menace.
Yeah, I'm surprised he wasn't in For Color Girls.
Oh man.
Let's move on. Next category. Wouldn't let that happen to me. So for those of you who are new to us, we have a category where we just see things that happen in the movie and kind of ponder and say, that shit would not happen to me. Nah, I'm not going for it. School, you want to lead off this category?
Luther
as a whole.
As a whole, bro. I'm not going, bro. Never.
Luther would have got hands put on every time I saw him.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, he got his ass whooped, man. He got whooped Luther, man. Nah.
Yeah, man. The way the number one ass whooping deserving moment. I don't know if I just made that up or not, but when TT asked about the money in her check, like, and he just really just shut the fuck up, like, bro, who are you talking to,
nigga? Three people I don't play with: the I, the R,
the
and
I,
the S.
or the S. Yep.
The I like working for Luther. Yeah. If you don't like working for Luther Janitorial Service, then shut the fuck up and find. Hey, I slapped fire the same way Stoney slapped Cleo.
Told him, what did she say? Shut up, Luther, before I stick a broom up your ass. What do you tell him? Hey,
say that for your little girlfriend.
Yeah, say that for your little girlfriend. Hey man, Luther.
Luther was off the hook.
Luther ass.
He was off the hook, man. He was like that. He was like that in He Got Game too when he played Sweetness.
Sweetness,
yeah. But
dirty some bitch.
Yeah, Luther was off the hook, man. I'm not going.
So another thing that I'm not going for is him not telling me where that bread is. Like, I know some shit jumped off, but I feel like I don't know, man. We could have figured out something.
It wasn't
we knew he had
most
bread.
of it.
They had almost.
That's true.
They had what, 275? How much money did they have? 300,000.
Just about.
Yeah, and it's 96.
Ain't no way he spent all that money in that short of time.
Nah,
nigga.
Cash.
So remember, they had pinned to all the watches and jewelry. He had this nice hotel room. Cleo picked up a wad of cash. Remember, he goes, "What money? What money? My money." They dropped it when TT shot him.
Yeah.
Cleo dropped it. So they never even still went back and picked that little bit of money up. But clearly we see LA been expensive.
yeah,
that's real.
So a little bit of money, it might not go that long away. Nigga probably bought a car. Nigga stopped by Dr. Dre's spot. So he probably bought some guns, in addition to the gun that he pulled on Cleo. So that little bit of money he probably tricked on a white girl, and all they had left was probably about maybe $10,000.
So back, I know we already went past the best scenes, but because you brought that up, the interrogation scene is one of my favorite scenes. Like that gift is classic. All that shit, bro. I love that. I love that, nigga. And technically, she didn't shoot.
I was just about to say that.
Luther. Technically, she didn't do it.
The cops jammed themselves up the way they asked him. Do you see the person that killed Luther? No, I don't, because she ain't in here.
I don't, because she ain't in here.
Cleo did not shoot her.
Got a little insurance.
Yeah, absolutely. I got another one for wouldn't let that happen to me. Ain't no way you put the strap in my face and I'm apologizing first.
Thank you. Ain't
no way. I'm not saying we can't get past it, but I'm not leading that conversation. I'm not initiating it. You don't, come on, man. Come on.
For them to be as close as they supposed to be, that should have never even came to that. The bottle, I get. The bottle, all right, cool, maybe. But a gun, come on, G. That's my dog right there. You see that nigga right there in that corner right there? That's my right hand man. I ain't never, ever. Yeah. I took a remote and tried to knock his head off with it. But
back when we was kids or so,
Yeah, I ain't pulling no gun on my guy, man.
Money makes you do some crazy things.
And she spent all her money quick. She was salty at your boy pulled up. Yeah.
If Vegas had eyes on who was gonna spend that money the quickest, Cleo would have been.
Yeah, we knew that. She had to clean her ride up because she's a nigga, and so
that's a fact.
They said she had been working on that ride since they was motherfucking kids, damn near
7th grade.
So
7th grade, and she ain't go to work for Luther. She ain't even go to work for a week.
But I would like to know what the fuck everybody else do with their money.
That's a good question.
Like, what y'all do? I ain't see nothing. Anybody have on nothing nice?
Let me ask this specifically. I'm gonna ask you, Rachel.
Okay.
You would have ripped up that check. You would have ripped up that check.
No, I worked.
All right, then. I got salty watching it. I'm like, why she rip up the check?
Yeah, I didn't understand that neither. Like, it wasn't made out to UCLA. It wasn't made out.
Right.
No,
I earned this.
Hey,
I've earned this. I'm keeping that. But I understand, you've already taken a shower. You're clean.
It's over. You might as well take the bread. You earned that bread.
Like you earned that bread. Exactly.
Definitely.
If anything, you a little bit excited, like, well, I don't have to use this on school now. It's a little extra pocket money.
Hello.
Yeah, straight up.
And not an additional $3,000 shortly after. Like, come on.
Excuse me. I promise I got COVID. Anything else for that category?
My wouldn't let happen to me. It's probably the whole Cleo and Stoney fight. That's really probably the only thing, because you really just don't have no control over the following circumstances. You know what I'm saying? The rest of the rising and falling actions. Right. Niggas ain't have no control over what the fuck is going on. So that would probably be my only thing. But you just never know. Motherfucking money make you do some crazy things. What homeboys say, never miss money and friendship.
Mm-hmm.
So this bothers me, and I'm trying to see if this. So one thing that bothers me is, how old is TT's son?
I'll say about 2, 3.
2.5, 3.
You think that little boy is peacefully just letting her? If he ain't seen his mom, he see his moms, he'd have been tripping. Like, it just, that mother-son dynamic wasn't real. It just wasn't. A 3-year-old.
Excuse me. I'm not going that far. I feel what you're saying, Scoop, but I'm not. I chalk that up to a movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. But it would have helped though if they would have had to added that up a little bit more though, play that up, so you feel a little bit more for TT. Like I felt like she was a little off, and so was he. Shit.
Probably. He probably was. And then now you ingested all these chemicals. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
That also is probably why he was motherfucking mild, because now his whole
straight up.
his whole system is motherfucking depressed.
That's real.
You know, you just never know.
That's real.
I don't know.
Let's get into scene stealer. I think we talked about it. Cleo,
yeah.
Like easily. Like there's not a scene of Cleo's on the screen and I'm not stopping to watch it. I don't care what's
every single scene.
Yeah, I don't care what's going on. Now I will say this: best supporting. So outside of the main four, and it's really only two choices for me, and I want to know who y'all got.
You want to say Keith?
Nah.
You don't want to say Keith.
I want to say John McGinley for Officer Strode.
Officer Strode,
Detective Strode. Like he bodied that role. He did.
Yeah, he annoyed the hell out of me, so he did.
Yeah, he did his thing. Even he killed from an acting standpoint. He stole it from me. Like
he did what he had to do.
More so than Blair Underwood. And Blair, we were talking about right there between those two.
Blair Underwood is Blair Underwood, though.
It's funny you even saying that, because Gary said that those two made his job very easy. Because like you said, they have that short amount of time, and that we only have one take. He said those two guys were his heroes. Like they came and delivered every day. So shout out to that. I love you said that.
Yeah, I believe it. I think the only other person I could see playing Keith is in '96 is probably Eric LaSalle.
Yeah, but Blair was the right one for that.
Nobody could have played that but Blair.
There is something about not only the tonal quality of Blair Underwood's voice, but the way that he speaks. And he low-key does it in every movie, but not in a negative way, but just it's his familiar cadence. And it's his cadence that 100% absolutely works for this film, and really everything he does. I've never seen Blair underperform. They just did that shit. Strode's partner, I don't know. I didn't write down a name for her, but the mama
from Who Made the Potato Salad?
Who Made the Potato Salad?
Yeah.
That's Rock's wife. Yeah. Tell him who that is.
I had to shout out Who Made the Potato Salad first.
Classic.
When Frankie goes, and sister, you didn't even offer me any water, or you didn't even ask me if I was thirsty.
I was gonna ask you about that.
She had her one-liners were good, and her timing was on point. So if I'm not giving it to Blair, I'm gonna give it to Mrs. Rock's wife.
Yeah.
Hey, Rock's wife. Yeah.
Nah, I dig that. Like I said, John McGinley get it for me. What about you, School? You got anybody?
Ella Joyce is her name, Detective Walter. I think Anna Marie did her thing, man. Looking good, looking real slim, Miss Wells. Yeah, looking real nice. Yeah. But nah, I would have said Blair Underwood. That's who that's just I feel like he did his thing.
He killed it, man. He bodied it. Like I can't see anybody else play Keith but Blair.
Yeah,
his
straight
swag. It was so on point. You got Harvard Business School. You got that. Black bourgeoisie.
Bank manager. Yeah,
bank
like
manager.
When he said he's a bank manager, like we don't even second guess. Yeah, he's telling the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love the fact when they said, "Well, you from Harvard." As a matter of fact, I am. Well,
I
still gotta eat.
Gotta eat.
He knew who he was. He didn't try to conform too much to what he thought Stoney would like. Like he was who he was, and he recognized that. He understood Stoney was different, and that was cool with him. He didn't care about none of that. Like he cared about Black people as a whole. Even like I said, where you see yourself in 5 years, we don't do that enough. We don't plan enough.
Yeah.
Like, he wanted everybody to kind of, when they went to the soul food restaurant, it's Black owned. I love that. Like you could tell he was genuine. It wasn't an act. Like, and that's what I really love Keith. Like, and I would have loved to see what Stoney's life could have been like
with
had
him.
she been, yeah, absolutely, because that's a different version of Stoney.
Yeah, that she didn't even know.
Absolutely.
And was uncomfortable with. I loved that. I don't know how I didn't write or say it for a favorite scene, but when he cooked the Mexican for her at the house, like, bitch, you ain't never left LA. Let me show you some shit. Like, let's do this. And this is my plan, just to show you that there is a world outside of your block, you know.
But in her defense, nigga, I'm in LA. I eat Mexican a lot.
Do she?
Yeah, I don't think she leave yet. She don't leave.
I want to say, yeah, I want to say, but do she? I don't
know. Another thing, real quick, I just love about Keith and his character was when he first started talking to Stoney. Like, I don't want anything from you. I don't expect anything from you. Just that being in the moment, being in the present. Like, I thought you was fly. I thought you was fine. Just trying to see what's going on. This could be the only time we link up. We can link up another 10 times. Like, we ain't got ain't no pressure. I'm me, like you, and we'll just take it from there. I just love that.
I know that's right.
You know what I'm saying? I love that about him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Free. That's free game too.
Straight up.
Things that bother you. We've already listed mine. Why doesn't Ursula's talk? Why does Stoney rip up that check? And why were the disguises so terrible? So those are the things that bother me the most. School. I know you had one. I think that you wanted to touch on. If I'm not mistaken, about the CDs.
Oh yeah. Okay, so why do you think that it helps her get caught? Like, they were very meticulous at the very. She was wearing gloves. She was tossing them. By the time they stole the Cadillac, she was pulling shit out her own personal car.
Right.
Like, come on, y'all. Come on.
You're making yourself look guilty. You know, you're giving yourself away. This is a pattern. Every time a vehicle is stolen, here are these CDs hanging outside of the parking space. Oh, there also happened to be a bank robbery this day. Oh, this was the car, you know? Like, girl.
Yeah. And he's definitely running for Prince. He's running for Prince every time. He's running for Prince. So,
kind of goes back to what I said earlier. They weren't professionals. They weren't good bank robbers. You don't do that when you actually, like, this is your living. Yeah. This is some, like, I have no other option. Let's see what we can do to rob this bank. And I love the fact.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I love the fact that they had a character, Frankie, that used to work at a bank. I'm glad it wasn't like we're blindly going into these banks.
Yeah.
So you have a little bit of insight of how this stuff works. Because then that would have made it real unbelievable that they really put it off with how bad they prepared.
It's the only way they were able to do it multiple times. Is with Frankie's knowledge. That's the only way that got off more than once.
It's like you said, Rich. By the last robbery, they get smarter. Like, the last disguises were awesome. Them was the ones.
Phenomenal.
Them was the ones.
Phenomenal.
Chloe was on
their
disagree?
Ass
when,
was on their ass when Strode was like, I know that's you, Stoney, and they start lifting up their mask and putting their guns down. What is y'all doing?
I don't know why they did that.
Dumb. I think I like the face. I like the mask. But I think they still should have put on a wig or something, because Cleo, you don't have these straight backs the whole movie. Bitch, I know this is you. Motherfucker, Stoney, you got these motherfucking beautiful singles. Bitch, I know that this is you. Like,
yeah, straight up.
That was my thing. But that I didn't like about the mask and the jumpsuit. The jumpsuit was fine, but see, they could have kept them wigs.
I got you.
With the mask. Yeah.
Right.
Another one of my favorite. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, I think we just, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but we making our own point about them being desperate, because everything we saying is just signs of desperation. Like, just don't give a fuck. Fuck it.
That's it. I know somebody who robbed some banks before. I ain't gonna get too much on it.
She is old pigs.
I ain't gonna say too much on here. We'll talk about it when we get done. But when niggas are desperate, they do dumb shit.
Right, Rachel, we went to school with somebody that robbed a bank. I think he's still in jail.
I did
too. Talking about the same person.
I don't know. He's from here.
No, the person.
Whoa! I'm about to say, don't say no names.
Yeah, no. I'm not gonna say no names. But I know who you're talking about too. He, yeah, I know who you're talking about too.
Yeah, I know a nigga too. He robbed a mirror stop. If he watching, what up, nigga? Yeah, straight up.
Man, desperate times.
Yeah, man, y'all wild, man. Before we get somebody indicted, let's move on to the next category.
Yeah.
Any actors from The Wire? Like I said, if you're new to us, I think that The Wire is the greatest show of all time. So I just
they
made this
recently
category
had an anniversary.
Definitely 20 years since the debut. They actually have a new podcast with Method Man going over the 20-year anniversary of it. So that's dope. But we ain't here to promote other stuff.
Watch this. You watching it? You gonna be listening?
Of course, man. Come on. No question. I've already started. But anyway, there are no actors from The Wire in Set It Off, unfortunately, but still a fantastic movie. And
you sure Sweetness wasn't in nothing?
Come on, man. Stop it. He was in He Got Game. He was in Clockers.
Lackawanna Blues.
Yeah, but he wasn't in The Wire.
Okay.
It looked like he could have been hanging out with Bubbles, but he was something. Let's get into the final category of the day, trivia. So this is where I kind of want to have a Kimberly Elise conversation, because there's another actor that auditioned for a role. It wasn't TT, but would have been perfect with the other three actors.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. Let's have the Kimberly Elise conversation first. So, was that more TT or was that more Kimberly Elise? Like, was that character TT written to be that way, or do you think that's how Kimberly Elise portrayed her? You get what I'm saying?
Oh, I think. I mean, I genuinely thought that Kimberly was special needs. So I want to say that that's what she did to the character. I think that maybe the description of her was maybe someone who was destitute a little bit more than the others. And Kimberly Elise was like, okay, bet. Let me show y'all what all I can do.
Yeah, I don't have. I know I posed a question, but I don't have the answer. I'm not sure which one is which. But when I said this other name, I think they would portray TT differently. Go ahead.
So I think that that was her just portraying that. I think that she was, out of those four, she's gonna be the weakest, and I think that was her. What? You don't think so?
No. It just dawned on me. I didn't put this down for things that bother me. And I'm sorry to cut you off, School. There's no way TT is in my crew. That's another big thing. There's no way she's robbing banks with me. I don't care how close we are. No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Oh my God.
I think she would have, if she wouldn't have died, nobody would have died. She would have been the first one to tell. And not on purpose, because I think she's just naive.
She's a little slow. They could have goaded her into a confession
with her son,
much easier.
With her son? Come on,
yeah, man. Baby. Much easier than the other three. Much easier than the other three.
Yeah, she's telling everybody.
So,
go ahead.
Rich, you said that she wouldn't be in your crew. I literally just had this conversation with somebody that not always, but almost always, there's one person that's tighter with somebody, and so they just be around. Like they end up in the crew by default. Is that would they be your go-to? No. But then they're around enough and you'd be like, damn, that's a genuinely nice ass person. They're a little thingy, but wow, what a good ass person. Damn, you a good ass friend. Yeah, you can stay around. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's kind of what happened. Like maybe Stoney or maybe Cleo took her under their wing in the sandbox. Like, oh no, don't pick on her. And she just
Yeah, because you could tell herself. You could tell Frankie picks on TT. Like if they had more time, they would have stressed that a little bit more.
Oh yeah, because it was definitely silent moments with some eye rolls and like
you can tell.
Slow.
Yep.
Yeah.
Straight up.
Yeah, that's what I question. And another reason why I asked when I was, like I said, doing some research, when they, F. Gary Gray really took them to a gun range, to shoot those guns and things like that. And he was talking about, he said Queen was on point with it. Queen knew her way around the gun. She knew what she was doing. Vivica, Jada Pinkett. Kimberly Elise was how TT was in the movie. Like that's how she was in real life. So that's why I was like, I wonder how much of this is her versus she wasn't acting when she did that with the gun. Like that's just how she handles guns.
I believe it. I'm not gonna hold you.
She's been in so many. She's performed in a lot of good movies, right? She's had some good performances.
Yeah, she's had some good performances.
She's got great performances.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm not taking that away. It's just, it's not shocking that this. Let me put it like this: when I look at that poster, even to this day, like everything fits. Like I love the film. All four of them are a unit. I don't look at them as individuals, but she's still always that one. She's Corrupt in the Death Row poster. And shout out to Corrupt. Okay. I love Corrupt. No diss, but when I see Pac, when I see Dre, when I see Snoop, when I see Suge, like Corrupt is just that odd person out. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not from the West Coast, so West Coast listeners don't get on me. Like I'm sure Corrupt means a ton to y'all out there, but as a kid from the Midwest, he just didn't fit with the rest, and she didn't fit with them. And like I said, I don't know if this because this is her debut film, what the case is, but she just didn't sing. Now, I say all that. Regina King auditioned for this role, for this movie. I could have seen Regina King play, maybe not TT. She auditioned for Frankie, ironically. I could have, and Vivica auditioned for TT. I could see Vivica sliding down to TT and Regina playing Frankie. I just feel Regina works better as a four than Kimberly Elise. And that's no diss to Kimberly Elise. It's just a personal preference.
I don't see that. I don't see you having a Vivica. Regina is her own. Like she just stands alone.
But she has the most range out of all of them. Like I think she could have done it.
I don't know, man. That would have been tough.
I could be on this island by myself. That's cool.
I think that you are.
Yeah. somebody has to be that weak person. Someone I don't know for TT if you need a strong person. If you need that, especially if the movie company, you already got Queen Latifah and you got Jada. Fuck them other two. You see, they was add-ons.
Yeah,
we'll pick the little waitress. Yeah, she cool. She all right.
School, exactly that. I think that you need, especially in a cast like this, you need somebody who was a bit lesser to be the four. Regina King, Vivica A. Fox, Jada Pinkett, Dana Owens. That might be too motherfucking much.
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Okay.
That is a lot. And I can't see Vivica playing TT.
I can't either. Like it's a
stretch.
Cannot
fathom it.
But that's because of what Kimberly Elise has done to that character that you can't see anyone else playing it.
Well, I could see somebody else, but not Vivica A. Fox.
Do you have any names? Just off the top of your head? If you don't, that's cool.
Brandy was
played
that shit. She
could have played that. Regina Hall.
Regina Hall?
That a little bit more. I can see that a little bit more.
This is before. I don't even think Regina Hall wasn't around yet.
She was.
I thought Regina Hall came around the Best Man.
What was that, 97?
Yeah, she was.
Best Man was
99.
99. Okay. I don't know.
I think Brandy could have did it.
Brandy. It might have been too rough around the edges for Brandy's brand at the time, but she definitely could have played like a lesser. I think the other three are too. They gave too strong a performance, and Regina King ain't no motherfucking slouch.
Yeah,
and Kimberly Elise, she did what she had to do too, but I can't see her.
I feel like if you
broken down place like that.
I feel like if you put Brandy in it, she can't have no kid.
If you put Brandy in it, they can't be robbing banks. They got to be doing something else because Sonya Norwood wasn't going.
Yeah, she ain't going for that.
She was considered for TT. I don't know if anybody knows that. Brandy was considered for
that's
TT.
That's why he said Brandy. Yeah, but she didn't get that shit. I don't know. Now you have me thinking. I'm trying to think what 90s girls could have done it.
Do you know who was originally cast as Frankie?
Halle Berry.
Nah, I do. He ain't let me get it. Yep.
Rosie
Perez.
Rosie Perez.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She was originally cast as Frankie.
That'd have been a whole different movie because
I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah,
I'm glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, I'm glad that didn't happen. Now I'm really thinking. I cannot see Regina King in this movie. It really is perfectly cast. Like,
also very minor. Just an interest. I don't even think the studio reached out, but Chili was interested in playing Stoney. Nah, I didn't see. I don't think I seen her in anything but House Party 3.
You remind me.
Who loves Chili? That fucking reality show.
Right. And then
that shit was horrible.
Lastly, this really has nothing to do with nothing. Just a random trivia fact that I know School would love as well. When Luther quit the business, remember they showed up to work and the guy that introduced himself, he was a landlord in Martin. When Martin wasn't paying the $5, that's the same actor.
I ain't paying the $5.
I ain't paying the $5. I just had to shout
it
out.
Is.
Also, my fault. Speaking of which, was y'all hitting that money there?
No. I understand why they did it.
Definitely.
I understood the thought process. I just would have had to have found somewhere else to put it. Like,
I don't know where, but it wouldn't have been there.
It wouldn't have been there. But I understood the thought process 100%.
Great thinking. Great thinking for real.
The neutral location. I don't even know how Luther looked up on it, other than what makes the camera watching.
Those are the little things where that $4.5 million that they spent at Godfather would have been. I would love to see. Could you imagine him finding that shit?
Maybe.
They had another. I know they had a scene. They didn't even shoot this scene. They had a flashback scene of the four of them, like on the playground when they were like 8 or 9 years old, trying to emphasize like their friendship and stuff.
Their friendship, okay,
yeah. You don't really need it. We got the point.
Yeah,
we got the point. But yeah, is there anything else that you guys just want to talk about? With Set It Off?
What a good ass movie. I mean, I have cried watching Set It Off so many times. Like.
Well, hold on. Before we break it down, I don't know if have we broken down the end enough? Have we talked about that enough? The last 25 minutes?
We really haven't. And we haven't talked about how there were all these rumors back in the day that there was going to be a sequel with like Stoney in Mexico. And we
Jada
just
Pinkett
never
said
got
nah.
it.
Yeah, Jada Pinkett said nah. I'd have been more interested in a prequel. Give me younger version of these actors and let me get that dynamic of it. I don't know what the main storyline would have been because you can't have a movie like Set It Off and a prequel just be about their friendship with nothing else happening. But even instances when Stoney apologized to Cleo and said, "We've been through worse." I want to see what that worse is.
Well, what's the
what
worst?
Have y'all been through that's worse than
bitch a gun?
Yeah.
And guess what? And that's what Hollywood writers are for. That's what they pay them writers for. So they can figure that shit out. Like you said, it can't be murder. It can't be no murder because obviously whatever. But it could have been something. Could have been some shit.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my God! Did Cleo cause the accident with Stoney's parents?
Did Cleo used to sleep with men?
I know that. What was I just about to say? Either way, I know Jada Pinkett wasn't on it. She wasn't. She wasn't interested in doing a sequel, and that kind of was the end of that. But yeah, just I guess I won't go too deep into it. We'll wrap things up, but just the last Cleo's. I think that might be the most G death scene,
baby,
of anybody, just because of why she did it. Like she sacrificed herself straight up. Like that scene in the tunnel. Y'all get out. We'll meet y'all on the side. Like that's That's how you know if you have a heart or not. If you don't feel nothing in that moment, you might be a sociopath.
She knew that she was gonna die.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was it.
And she knew that she probably was the one that was. The other two probably had a better chance of doing something great if they can get away. But even if she didn't have that thought process, it's loyalty. Just that friendship like that. That's real ride or die right there. That's some real
literally.
Yeah, like I'm sacrificing myself so y'all can get away. I hope y'all do. Like it's been real.
I wanted Frankie to get away so bad. Oh, I wanted Frankie to make it. But what is the procedure when you got a fucking gun to your head? Add that to a favorite line. And scene, honestly.
Straight up.
Absolutely. I think that I'd have loved to see, like you said, I'd have loved to see two of them get away.
Yeah. That could have been a sequel. Frankie and Stoney got away. They got on their bus.
Man, that was rough, man.
No braids.
And you mentioned it too, Rachel, just Stoney seeing that. She watched it. I couldn't imagine watching my dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
That's wild. But just the last 25 minutes, like I said, was just beautifully put together. You're so invested at that point. You want them to get away. You know they're not getting away. You know there's not a chance. If they got away, I think everybody would have walked out the theater.
Yeah, like, you know what I mean? Come
on. But just the way
during setting it off, it was on YouTube. It's a documentary of the making of Set It Off. Gary talks about out of movies, period, this is one of the saddest endings. Like it touches him to this day. He's like, and I'm not just saying it because I made this movie. Like the ending of this movie is just perfection.
Yeah,
it really is.
So
it really is. That's how you end a movie. That's how you end a bank heist movie, an anti-hero story. That's how you do it. So I think that maybe it's good that we don't dive too much into it because I don't know if I can give the proper words to really express how the end of the movie is just, I mean, perfect.
It was gut-wrenching and heartbreakingly beautiful. The cinematography, just what we were seeing, it was beautiful, but it was horrible.
Damn, y'all, I'm about to watch Set It Off when we finish. I'm about to watch it again.
Yeah, you got to.
Yeah, okay. Like this movie is one that it gets better each time you watch it. Like, unless you watch it to nauseum, like just watching it just for the prep for this episode. Like each time I watched it, I'm just enjoyed it more and more and more. And I've seen Set It Off countless times.
50, 11 times. It's a good ass movie.
It really is.
Yeah.
It's good as fuck.
Is it better than Soul Food?
Yes.
All right. Just wanted to make sure.
100%.
Just wanted to make sure.
You gotta ask, man. Gotta check.
I will say, and we'll end this. I'm gonna want to get off topic. This is a better movie than Soul Food. I still like Vivica's character in Soul Food better than I like Frankie.
Than Frankie?
Yeah.
I don't know about that.
We don't got to dive too deep into it. It was just something I was thinking when I was watching it. Because Cleo and Stoney, like especially Cleo, like she just steals it. Like Frankie's, I appreciate her, but it's whatever. But we ain't even gotta get into it.
Yeah, because well, let's not. Because I
about to say we ain't got to get into it. It was just a random thought. Rachel, we ain't even going.
Because we all can agree that Stoney's the leader of these four girls, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. That's
no question.
So
and Matt.
So that's that. And I think that was the problem with Regina King being in this movie. I don't know if I can believe that Jada Pinkett Smith is running Regina King. I just don't know if I can believe that.
I agree with you. I agree with
range, man. I'm telling you, it's that range. Regina could have pulled it off.
Regina got a hell of a range.
Yeah,
she does.
She would have had to be. She would have had to be Stoney.
Yes, that's what she would have had to be.
She would have had to be Stoney.
Yeah, ironically, I could see Jada as TT. Nah, she's Stoney to me. Either way.
Yeah. We done, man. Let's get out of here. This is what we do, man. We can do this shit all day, man.
Yeah, we can talk about it all day. But seriously, thank y'all for listening. As always, thank you to my incredible co-host, Rachel, School. Love y'all.
I love you.
Legend.
Please
love you.
Please don't hesitate to hit us up. Please, like, give us movie ideas. Give us what you want to talk about, the whole nine. Have a conversation when we post this. Like, get in the comments. Have a conversation what it's about. Set it off and your favorite scenes and your favorite moments. We can talk about this, like School just said, all day. And we're definitely going to be coming with much more content. Like I said, you can catch us on YouTube, catch us on podcast form. We'll be back in a couple weeks with a new episode.
Hey.
Y'all be cool. How y'all be cool?
Peace.